Hello, my name is Griffin McGrath, and this is my mini lecture. I'm going to be discussing James Clear's book, Atomic Habits, specifically Chapter 6, where he discusses how motivation is overrated and environment matters much more. To begin, he starts with a little story about a woman named Anne Thorndike, who was a hospital supervisor and wanted people in her cafeteria to start making healthier drink choices. So instead of starting some kind of campaign or telling people about the benefits of water, she simply changed the environment. At each food station, she would add a basket of water bottles where people could grab a water bottle when they got their food. At each fridge next to the registers, she emptied half of them of soda and filled them with water. And over the next 6 months, she saw a dramatic increase in water sales and a dramatic decrease in soda sales. This is an example of how, without people changing their motivation, their environment fosters them to make more positive choices. James Clear says that environment is the invisible hand that shapes human behavior. And what he means by this is that throughout the day we make so many choices that involve motivation. Whether you want to do chores, start homework, go to school, go to work, call your grandma, all this takes a little bit of motivation, and we only have so much throughout the day. So it becomes very easy to lose motivation throughout the day and not make positive choices. But when we're in environments that foster positive behavior, you use much less motivation. An example of this would be during COVID, a personal example. During COVID, when we were doing online school, I had an L-shaped desk with my Xbox on one side and my schoolwork on the other side. And throughout the day when I was doing school, I often found myself slipping up and just turning my chair 90 degrees to play Xbox. This was because I had an environment that did not foster positive behavior. It took so much more motivation for me to do schoolwork because I could simply turn like that and play Xbox. Another example for me that kind of shows that environment changes your motivation would be my family has a little room that we've turned into a mini gym with a couple pieces of equipment, and I find it so much harder for myself to get motivation and get into a workout when I work out here in this little room versus when I drive to the gym and go to the gym. I find it much easier to get motivation and easier to get into my workout. And James Clear would explain that this is because my house I see as an environment of relaxation and contentment, versus the gym I see as a place where you work hard and it's much easier for you to get motivation there. And then we can actually see an example of this in one of our previous lessons. When we learned about listening, we learned about physical barriers during listening. If you're talking with someone one-on-one and you're having a conversation and there's a distraction, there's TV in the background and people walking around and loud noises, it's going to be much harder for you to concentrate on what they're saying versus if you're in a quiet room where it's just you and them. And this can be related to our environment and motivation, because when you're in that loud environment, it takes so much motivation to focus on that person, versus in the quiet environment it takes almost no motivation because that's the only thing you really can do is listen to that person. So you can use these concepts and this ideology to benefit your own life. If you want to start reading a book more often or whatnot, instead of having that book on a bookshelf or tucked away, every morning when you wake up, open the book and put it on your pillow. That way when you get into bed, it becomes really easy just to grab the book and start reading. Or if you want to start eating more fruit, instead of having it tucked away in your fridge, leave it out on the counter. That way when you walk through your kitchen every day, it's really easy just to grab a piece of fruit and start eating. It takes almost no motivation. An example of this that I have done is my desk. I used to have it really messy, and I'd have my computer unplugged and pencils, I could never find them. I'd have papers everywhere, my notebook wherever. And a little while ago, I started really organizing my desk, having my computer plugged in, open on canvas, my notebooks here, my books for school here. I have pencils and highlighters in a cup now. And it became so much easier for me to sit down and start doing homework because I fostered an environment. I created an environment that pushed me to make that positive behavior. Before, when I wanted to do homework, it took so much motivation because I knew I'd have to find everything and plug it in and open Canvas and log in and find pencils and do all this. Versus now it takes much, much less motivation to do all those things because half of them are done now. And basically you can use this ideology throughout your life. You can create environments that foster good behavior and take motivation out of the picture. That way you can make more positive choices throughout the day.